Jason, I've seen the light.
I know. It's very freaking bright.
Welcome to the Beyond the Curve. The MX podcast goes off-road. This is episode 6. We have off-road, we have supercross, and we have the thoughts of Jason Crowley regarding off-road and supercross. And we actually have hot off the presses the results of the first National Enduro of the season. The Sumter. So we're gonna cover it all. If you see us shielding our eyes, it's because we have our work light on. We did the last one in the dark. So, how are you, Mr. Crowley?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I slept in and went and did bike stuff for a few hours, and then came back, went back to sleep.
Yeah. For those that may not know, there was a Supercross in Tampa last night, and we all went. Jason was able to take Gunner to his first Supercross. We took a family friend to their first Supercross, and it was an exciting night of racing. Like, honestly, it was actually kind of cool. First time winner, local guy, famous family. So that part was fun. We had an FTR race the week prior. You had your best finish in that. We're going to talk about that track. We have a race this weekend coming up. I've got a gripe because we have a race this weekend, and we had the first enduro. Where do we want to start? We got like a plethora of things. Should we go from the beginning?
Just started a week ago.
All right. Indiantown. We just raced in Okeechobee. We go to Indiantown. We've been there before.
Been there 10 years.
They ran it in the similar fashion. I guess it would be clockwise this year.
Yes.
Yeah, clockwise. You go to that wood section.
It was clockwise-ish, yeah.
So I got to come watch Gunner race on Saturday, which was cool to see the kids. Man, there's a couple of kids that the future of FTR looks good, and as they move up in the older.
Yeah, as long as they stay with it.
As long as they stay with it and don't go to motocross.
Yeah.
They're as the Northerners say, they're rippers. They're rippers. But it was fun. It was fun watching Gunner race. Fun seeing how the track develops on a Saturday versus a Sunday. So that was actually really cool. So I didn't get to come watch you race. I had to do some mechanic things on Sunday. How was it on Sunday? Besides dusty.
It actually, well, yes, it was dusty. It was dusty in certain spots when you got a couple people together, but it wasn't like, oh my God, it's just horrible. Like it wasn't like that. It wasn't bad. It is as weird as it sounds, it's gotten to where after each race, I miss racing in the afternoon versus the morning.
Okay. Is there a reason?
Yes.
Okay. Reason.
So we're going to start the bitching early.
Okay. Okay.
So you saw it Saturday.
Yes.
Okay. That's the first time you've really seen the track on Saturday in a very long time to actually remember what it looks like.
Yeah, because I've actually never watched the kids race.
Yeah. Okay. So you saw it then, what it looks like. It's dirt bike related. Then you got the kids, then the 2 o'clock race, then the quads, then practice on Sunday morning, and then us. So in the spots, when we start, the spots that are double touched, there's normally still evidence of the quads. By the last lap, the lines are starting to form and make sense, and that evidence is finally starting to get either knocked down, overridden, however it forms. So the last lap, to me, the track is, I don't want to say easier. It flows way better and makes more sense. And so in return, you can go faster. It's easier to go fast versus the first lap. Okay, well, this corner is double rutted with what, like, you got to kind of figure all that out.
Yeah.
Plus being on row 1, what row 1 sees versus row
13,
6, or whatever it is, that's two
So
totally different things.
it's already somewhat beat in because I used to be on row 7 and then row 5, and there were still some areas, but it had already been beat in.
Yeah.
And then you put, I'm guessing the second time you come around, because some of those classes have 30 guys in them.
Yeah.
It's already changed.
Yeah. So I mean, you could do you could do 2 rows, and that's 100 people that have redirected
Yeah.
the soil, changed everything. So it's like there's been several of these last few races where it's nice, but at the same time, it's like, man, that last lap, things made sense because things are now flowing or starting to flow like they should flow. It's not. It just everything's there. Plus, I mean, by the third lap, you've picked out your lines. You know where you want to go. Things make sense. So it's.
So are you contemplating a return to 30 plus 30?
I mean, next season we're still kind of up in the air. I'm waiting on to see what Gunner wants to do, which he'll probably race. As far as what we're doing overall for next year, we're still kind of determining, okay, because there is enough time on Saturday for both of us to race with where he is versus where other times are. Like, because the minis, they put out the white flag, or I'm sorry, the checker flag at 1 or a couple minutes to 1. Well, that's 45 minutes before the start of the next race. Well, he's well through there before 1, starting his last lap. So like I've done the math and check. I'm like, it is doable if we wanted to do it. Or it may be, okay, you race on Saturday, I'll hit a couple Sunday races. We'll go do some enduros.
Yeah.
Whatever. I got options. I got time.
Just making it through the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And
Which, I mean, is only 2 more hair scrums for us and we're done.
okay.
Unless they add any more.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but you had your best finish of the season.
Yeah. So Mindy wanted me to make sure I told you this. So at Okeechobee, you said, well, quit worrying about what did you say? You quit worrying about whatever and just ride the damn track.
Yes.
Well, that's what I did. Like, fuck it. Just ride the track. And I paid attention to the track, what I did, and didn't worry about anything else. And it worked.
Well,
So
sometimes I have sage advice.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Well, that's good though. I'm glad you had a good ride. Like I said, we didn't get to come up because we were visiting Kyle Turnus.
Yeah.
So delivering some suspension, trying to get the old bike ready to roll again. But
one of two.
One of two. Yes, one of two. But speaking of, I met the gentleman last night at Supercross, who I bought my 2005 YZ, and he is shocked that it is still operational. He's like, "You still have it?" It's like, "Yeah, I still have it." So he's like, "I said it's gonna be alive next year." So it was kind of cool to run into somebody and see him and at the race. But okay, so we had Indiantown track. That track looks cool because you kind of cross over there's dividers in that track, like with the
there's a
drainage canal and stuff. So the track kind of, you go to this section, you go to that section, you come back, and I did like that section. That's new to me. I haven't seen that because we used to come in a different way. I haven't, that section that they've tied in this year that I saw for the kids that where we were watching from.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that section.
Yeah.
That was something different. By the way, we have to have a talk real quick. I am all for people making creative lines.
On Sunday, they ended up putting a log across there and ripping it off.
Okay.
Yeah. I tried it on the first lap, and it was actually a very horrible line. It didn't accomplish anything, and when you got to the other end, you then had to make a 90.
Yeah.
Where
you could flow the other way.
Well, so you came out of that corner, you stayed on the track, it did this. The other line that's opened up, that there weren't a whole lot of people taking it, but it was beat in a little bit, was so where it bent, we started going to the outside of those trees where it's completely flat and just staying on it all the way around. It never, like, basically you could just stay on it and just lay it over on that other side, which there you are well within 20 feet.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I measured, and it was a junior A rider who got
Mini A.
creative. Mini A?
Yeah.
Mini A rider who got creative. And congratulations on being creative. But your footage is off. You were at least 32 feet
Yeah.
off of the track. And I'm not complaining. I didn't take video. I don't care.
Yeah.
But it was creative. But that's where I was I'm glad they did something, because I was like, dude, all they would have to do is just put a ribbon here or something, and that line's done.
Yeah.
But creative lines, I got to see one for myself, like actually witness it. And I'm like, Michelle's like, don't worry about it. I'm like, no, people see a line, they're going to start taking that line.
And there was only a few. Basically, somebody saw it and like, hey, we need to do whatever.
Yeah.
Because it was it was our second lap. They were messing with it and putting up whatever.
But great job, Indiantown. FTR season rolls along. FTR takes a break because it's Tampa Supercross.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, from what I gathered, there were a lot of FTR members at the Supercross.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? It's entertainment, and we had 250 East. You're not a huge Supercross follower, motocross follower, but you like watching technique stuff. Michelle and I went early, watched qualifying. The track went from being super soft and rutted to almost no ruts by the end of the night. By the time it had dried out and they reworked it, and it was super technical. It was a massively technical track. There were a couple of places that you could advance yourself, which the eventual winner had one of those places. Forget the carnage, forget the injuries, that kind of stuff. The fact that a local guy wins his first race and causes the champion to unchampion himself in a very, he screwed up.
Yeah.
Like, he just screwed up.
Yeah.
The pressure, if you were in the stadium or you watched it on TV, you could hear someone is closing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it got to him.
Mm-hmm.
I think it got to Chase Sexton. And Mookie's lucky he didn't hit him.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty close.
Yeah.
But Malcolm wins his first Supercross. But the whole point of that is you got to see the difference in qualifying, the difference in speed from the guys that we see on TV to the guys who are trying to get on TV.
Yeah.
There's a big difference.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's a huge difference. And they're all jumping the same thing. Like last night.
Yeah.
Like there's only so many ways you could jump.
Yeah.
All that. They're all jumping the same thing. It's just your top guy, it's their momentum they carry through all of it. It's just way, way above everybody else. And then it's like, to me, with the 250s, you had the top guys and then you had everybody else.
Yeah.
It's like you had one speed and you had another. The 450s, you had a couple kind of in the middle, but you had your top guys, a couple in the middle, and then your other guys.
Okay, back to the 250s real quick. You have stated for years that a good rider on a stock 250 can still finish in the top 15.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still believe that? Or when you see that separation, do you think it's possible?
To me, it has nothing to do with the bike. It's all skill. Because, and I'll reason being, you take the boy on 252 stroke. I don't remember his name. I know he's been racing the last several seasons on a 250. Because I watched him during, I think, his last qualifying session. And then throughout the night, I watched him. One, he made it into nighttime qualifying when numerous 450s didn't.
Yeah.
So that right there says a 252 stroke is more than capable of making it to that point. Whenever he would carry his speed and ride correctly, he was fine. When he would try to ride his 250 like he's on a 450, he's had to slow way down because obviously he doesn't have the torque and the pull out of it. He cannot come out of a turn on the inside and hit a fucking triple.
Yeah.
He can't do it.
We got to witness that in qualifying.
Yeah.
He cased so many things because he just he was not getting the drive.
Yeah.
Like he just wasn't getting the drive.
But when he would run the outside and just stay on it and let it ride, he was fine. Like that little, I mean, technically it was a triple before the finish line.
Yeah.
When he would run the outside and hit that correctly, he was just like everybody else. No big deal.
Yeah.
When he would do the inside and try to do it like a 450, he can't do it that way.
Yeah.
So,
but I don't think overall, I don't think you could put one of the top guys on a 252 stroke, and I don't think they're winning.
We don't know. Nobody's ever tried.
Yeah, but I just don't think they can. I don't think they can because I think the 450s can cut the track so short.
Yeah. A 252 stroke would obviously, you have to have a little bit better technique and know how to do a couple of different things that you don't have to on a 250F or 450F,
Yeah.
obviously. But you're taking a 252 stroke versus, and even just look at the times, the 254 stroke or 450, it's still capable of doing it. So with your question, would a stock bike? Yes. To me, if you had the thing geared right and you got your suspension done,
privateer guy can still finish 15th.
Yeah, he can make it in. There's no reason he can't. It's all from what I saw.
Yeah.
And then obviously different tracks are like, I get that, but it's not like they're running fifth, sixth gear wide open.
No. They're after that start area and they did the double triple, and then it was that some guys were hucking the 3, and then the 3, and then the guys that didn't, they would double and then hit the big booter 5 foot. Those were the separation stuffs, like where guys were tripling. The guys that were going double, triple.
Yeah.
That's separation. Those are, now, even if it is a stock bike and that's all you can do, you're still going to get in if you're fast enough in those sections.
It was all just skill. Like in general, I would imagine, and I could be wrong, but I'd imagine most of that track, especially for a 450, really you could leave the damn thing in third gear and just.
They hit a lot of that stuff in second gear.
Yes, I mean, depending on their gear,
they hit the whoops fourth gear. Well, at the end of the whoops, they're in fourth because the kicking, the speed.
Yeah,
but they can hit the triples. I've heard of them sometimes hitting triples in first. Just whop.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, like during the main with the 450s, you could hear it better than you could, to me, the most of the night. Like you could hear like Malcolm and them when they would hit something, you could hear them it was just whoop,
yeah.
Whoop. Like it wasn't like they're on. It's just a quick hard blip and they're.
I would
gone.
love to see a stat because they're running all these diagnostics. It would be really cool because like in Formula One, they have the stat of like on throttle time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be really cool to have how long are they on, if it's a 55-second lap for the leaders.
Yeah.
How long are they actually on the throttle on that 55-second lap? Because when they'll hit a pocket, whop.
Yeah.
Float.
On that track, it probably wasn't your ratio to lap time versus was probably way less.
Yeah, because the far side of the track, well, we were sitting the far side of the track, that double, triple whoops sand, that was all throttle.
Yeah.
But then on the other side of the track, it was whop, whop, whop. Like there was just sections of jump.
Yeah.
So those 3 lanes, the whoops, the sand, the finish, I guess 4 lanes, the start straight, because that was like.
But I mean, you come at like, I didn't really. There's only a couple I actually ever heard like shift. Most of them were whatever they landed in and turned in, they stayed in, and they just one gear all the way around.
All right, so we still believe that and it's one of those things. If I could ever figure out how to do it, I would stock engine 250, well done suspension,
even stock 450. Like,
well, stock. There are guys that run stock 450s.
Yes, but there's like Eli's Tomac. With that interview he did, was it
a couple weeks ago?
Was it Gypsy Tales? Where they asked about that, and he's like, "Yeah, the stock YZ 450F is too slow." Like, how?
Well, he's different.
Yeah,
he's different.
But there's other parts to that question. How is it? And he doesn't elaborate. Okay, it's slow. How is it slow? Is it slow as in you want more torque and pull off the bottom, which makes the bottom end faster? or are you trying to make your top speed fat? Like,
Because Cooper Webb said I hopped on Eli's bike when they hired me.
mm,
I'm not riding that bike.
yeah,
So like they're completely different ways of how they go
yeah,
about.
yeah,
But if you watch Cooper wants to be on the inside, and Eli will rail a berm
yeah,
like nobody's business. So he just wants
yeah,
the instant throttle. Where Cooper's like, I'm good.
yeah,
I'll creep around the inside. And
yeah. But that brings like,
how is it mapped, basically?
yeah, you cannot tell me that he's trying to run like in general. You want to go faster, hold it on longer, or grab another gear.
Yeah.
Or you trying, or is his built to where, hey, he can leave it in third gear and it will pull and do this.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I understand that. So as you're not making it faster, you're just tuning it and changing the way it works. Like, okay, that makes a little bit more like let's actually be real and honest about what we're doing here. We're not taking this 450 and its top speed's 105 and we're gonna make it 100. We're not doing. That's not what we're doing. We're fine tuning
Yeah.
how the power is delivered.
Yeah. And all of them are different. I remember Ferrandis a couple years ago was like, dude, I want it detuned. I want it detuned
Yeah,
because it's so much power.
yeah,
So I think overall, yes, the power. It's how they're delivering the
yeah,
speed. I think the one thing we saw last night is I don't know what WP did. I don't know if they put a different initials on it, but Malcolm learned how to hit whoops again because I know that on the Husqvarna he hasn't had the greatest of whoop
yeah,
speed,
yeah.
but I don't know if the WP that's on the outside means KYB on the inside because I know that's what Sexton's been
Mm-hmm.
running, but I don't know if they've all gone that route. But all of a sudden Malcolm could hit whoops.
Yeah.
Um, I know you're an off-road guy, but is it fun at least going and seeing a different style once a year?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I enjoyed the main part. I enjoyed it wasn't even necessarily the racing. It was just watching the ride, like the difference in the riders and like that part of it.
Yeah.
It was seeing what you can't see on TV.
And that's why we go early, sitting there and watch the
Like honestly,
qualifying.
like going and watching, like I told Mindy, I said like what y'all did last year, where y'all were there Friday with Brett and doing this and seeing all like before anybody else is there,
Yeah.
and then practice before anybody. Like I'm like I would enjoy that, and then I would leave. Like the
Yeah.
racing part, like I'd
Yeah.
go back home if I want to watch it. I'll watch it. But seeing the specifics and like the detail, like that's what I like.
Yeah.
The actual racing part is like, okay, it's cool. And like last night with what like I was sitting there watching, and like Sexton's out front leading, and Roxton was doing good, and then Mookie got in there, and then Roxton screwed up with his deal, and then I sat there and I was like, all right, and I start counting. I'm like, Sexton maintained a 3-second lead a majority of that race, and then I was like, when they start hitting lappers, we'll see, and it started
Yeah.
slowly doing this, and because he was doing that one rhythm that was
Yep.
quite a bit of time every lap.
Because he had so much speed coming off that triple.
Yep.
Like when he hit, just
Yep.
it did make a difference.
Oh yeah.
Um,
So it's that stuff. Like
yeah.
it was cool. It wasn't. It was. I did not realize they played music the entire time over every like.
There's music playing
Yeah.
during the race.
Yes. There's
Oh, I didn't hear. I didn't know that. I'm
exactly.
there. I was there.
There was music between music and the announcer.
Oh.
They overrode actually listening to the bikes.
Oh. Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
It was just nonstop noise the entire that like turn shut up, turn the music off, let's hear the bikes.
Yeah, they do the in-house broadcasting now too. But so what we did last year, that Friday, Saturday, Michelle got to the point that I would go down to the pits. She would stay the entire qualifying because she absolutely loved watching.
Mm-hmm.
She loved watching him learn the track. Like, let's see how this rhythm.
Yeah,
They would double something and then triple, and all of a sudden they come out the next time, and they're single, triple. Like it's
yeah,
like they've just. Oh wait, let's try this.
yeah,
And that's what she liked, and she likes seeing the track develop. So it makes sense. Chris Kiefer, he always has the day program because he loves going and watching that part.
mm-hmm.
And then I can go home and watch it on TV.
Yeah.
So I understand, and that's a. I actually could stay, watch all that. Watch. I love the open. I get goosebumps every time they have the national anthem. I love the opening ceremonies, and then I could leave
Yeah.
and then watch it on TV.
Yeah.
But like I said last night, on TV, I only get to watch what they want to show me. Last night, I was watching Hardy Munoz try to qualify because I was like, okay, he's in ninth. We're going to get the Hardy experience.
Yeah.
And you don't get to see that on TV. But
Yeah.
I could pick
No,
who I wanted
I
to watch.
get that. Like, you can sit there and like, okay, I ain't worried about them. I'm watching back here. Like,
Yeah. And how are they handling those
Yeah.
things? And because some of those battles are intense, and you're like, this is their paycheck. Like, this is a paycheck.
Which
so.
that's more conversation we can have.
Well, go ahead. I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
But like the ceremonies were cool. The thing I was surprised they didn't have their shit together. In my opinion, one, everybody in the opening ceremonies came out from a different spot, which okay, cool.
Yeah.
But they didn't put a spotlight on them until a few in, and then you still barely could see them.
That Tampa screwed. I don't know if Tampa screwed. I don't know who screwed that up because we said that because usually the voice of Supercross, the god of Supercross, that thing is so overpowering. And like last night, you could barely hear him.
Yeah.
And they missed the first rider on the spot. So yeah, that's not for someone who only goes to one a year. They kind of got gypped last night. That's not how it normally.
Yeah, because initially it's like they're saying, they're introducing whoever, and it's like
I can barely hear them.
Well, you couldn't even see them down there.
Yeah.
It was so smoked out and so dark, and then they didn't have a light on.
Yeah.
And it's like, where are they?
Yeah, that we talked about that because that was something like we went to so many last year. That was always like the thing. Like as soon as you saw them in the crowd, like as soon as they'd introduce them, you'd be like, oh, they're right there because boom, the light was on them. But something got askew last night. I don't know what that was, but what about the daggum fire? It shakes your seat, the fireball, and you can feel the heat off of it. It's like, whoa, how hot must that be down there?
I mean, that's right. I mean, that's for us to feel it like that. That is well over, I'd probably say 1,500 degrees or more. Like it was hot.
They say the guys will tell you that when they had the fire on top when they're waiting at the start line, they can feel that.
Yeah.
The
I'm
flames.
sure.
And then when they burn the candle, that's why James Stewart. I finally figured out why he says neck burn. When he says like the winner gets a neck burn, because when you light the candles on the thing, you can feel that heat.
Yeah.
And it finally makes sense. I'm like, dude, if we can feel that up here.
Yeah. No, it's hot down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's a show. It is a show.
Yeah.
It is it's put on by Phil. For God's sakes, they gave away ice skating tickets last night. Yeah. So I would have liked to won the SMX tickets. I would have been cool. But you did want to touch on riders making a check. Now, you see the guys making a check on the track. There are 5, 6, 7 of them that make a living off track as well.
Yeah.
So whether they make the main or not, yes, making the main is cool, but they're still getting paid.
Yeah. Which from a business standpoint, because in general, if you're racing professionally, whether it's supercross, motocross, off-road, it's a business.
Yeah.
Even from a rider standpoint, and I know my mindset's a little bit different than a lot of people. Obviously, you have your top guys that get paid. They're factory riders, all this kind of stuff. Because like when we walked through the pit, you had semis there, and then you had guys and vans. So I explained to Gunner the difference. If you show up to a supercross and you're able to make it into nighttime qualifying every event, like you have to go out there and race, but you can make it in every event.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You're
one of the top 40 guys.
Yep. You're making it in every night. And then, okay, my next goal, okay, make it into a main.
Yeah.
Okay, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Okay, cool. You probably need to work on a couple things. Are you going to win? Absolutely not. But can you make it in every night show and make money and make your name known? Yes, obviously. If you show up to every supercross and you don't even make it into nighttime qualifying at all, what are you doing?
No, I agree.
You're wasting your time, your money, and like that's where watching the speed difference, like in qualifying, just throughout the night,
Yeah.
even the guys that made it into the mains, like watching the difference, and it's like, okay, cool, you're making main events. How long is somebody gonna sit there and pay you to get 20th place? Like realistically, like from a business standpoint, I want somebody that's up there. I don't want the guy that's back here.
Yeah, but you also have to figure in today's business world, how much are they on that thing that we're videoing with and making that presence? Because that's so important now. And I know there's a smaller subset that does that, but like last night, there was a guy that made the main. Yes, there's a family name on one of the riders. That's a they're sponsored by a pro rodeo
Mm.
contractor.
Mm.
Well, I know there's a family name to that, but there's a massive expense taking that fifth wheel of the race trailer
Well, that
all
was,
over the
yeah,
place.
and like I didn't.
So there's a there is a marketing side. I have these dollars I need to spend,
Yeah.
but there's also the presence. Like last night on the last chance qualifier, one of their riders actually won, and all of a sudden there's Smith Pro Rodeo on there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that that TV time is worth X amount of dollars.
In theory.
Yeah, well, in theory, but
Yeah.
also what they're doing. Like for instance, Kevin Moranz knocks it out of the park. Justin Starling knocks it out of the park. Josh Greco, the dude's got a world famous mustache.
Yeah.
I've seen him in a van with a little. He now has a whole setup
Mm-hmm.
because he has enough presence, and he's one of those top 40 guys. He's not a main guy. He's a
Yeah.
top 40, but has enough presence, and he's out there public facing
Mm-hmm.
that people are like, yeah, man, yeah, Josh Greco, yeah,
Yeah.
he's a top 40 guy. If he makes a main, people go crazy because that's not his thing,
Yeah.
and he's making enough to eat. Is he getting wealthy and buying a home? No. But if you're young enough to go chase the dream, why not do it for a while? If you can make the money, if you have the people and you're a good person.
Yeah. If you, and that's like you said, there are some that they're the exception to the rule because they're present, like you said, their presence is known. People know who they are
Yeah.
because they put themselves out there. They do this, or they go do other events besides this where
Yeah.
they get good results. But then you have guys that
They hide away.
they're you don't know who they are. Like they're not gonna they're not gonna do anything. It's like you love to write, cool. I, I'm all about it, but it's like, okay, like you probably need to look at Plan B because Plan A damn sure ain't
Yeah.
working.
Well, Matt Dixon and I talked about it last night. There's a race in Echinacani this weekend, literally just up the road in Georgia.
Yeah.
The Kings race or something.
Mm-hmm.
There was a pro payout.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're a local pro and you like racing,
Yeah.
I know this.
But that's another thing. If you're one of these guys that can't make it into the night show and you're going to like those and you still can't win,
Yeah.
okay, you need to you need to take that card and just start away. Like you're not
Try to turn 25 real quick.
yeah, you're not a pro rider. You were fast enough to get whatever to get your card, but you were not that status at all.
But there are options if you want it. There's fair races. There's arena
Yeah.
cross. There's ways to. Trust me, the first time I went to a Supercross as a sponsor, being able to not stand in line and just it's alluring.
Yeah.
Those lights come on, and you're like, yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
It's cool. But then I realized, one example, I realized I was the videographer in Dallas, which meant I went to the pits. I walked 5 minutes up the hill into the stadium, videoed. I didn't get to hang out and watch. I had to come back, deliver the video, go. Yeah, there's work.
Yeah.
So that allure of those lights popping on,
Yeah.
that went away real quick.
Yeah.
It's work.
Yeah.
It's work. And so there's work to be done.
Oh,
those guys that are doing the extra work that, for instance, I don't know who's got Deegan. Deegan has a company that works for him while he's Deegan's not editing videos.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Starling edits videos while he's driving home.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he makes ends meet.
Mm-hmm.
Moran's has a guy that follows. Like some of these guys are doing this all their own so that they can continue to do it, and they make money doing it. I don't have a problem if they're making. I don't have a problem if they're making money, and they're representing the companies. Like for instance, that rodeo outfit. They looked good. It was a nice setup. It was a clean setup.
Yeah.
The riders looked nice. That to me is a huge presence. You're like, oh, okay, and you go talk to them. You're like, hey, how's it going? Like, well, and you actually just walk through the pits because you can talk to the privateers. Yeah. They're there. They're there. You can't talk to the factory riders, which you made the point last night. GNCC, you can go talk to those guys. Supercross, you can't. IndyCar, it's hard. IMSA, you can walk out on the grid before the race. NASCAR's not as open. I guess it depends on the series and how that is.
Yeah, it's.
But you can enjoy Supercross. Go walk through the semis to see how pretty they are, and then you go to the other the satellite teams. All those guys in semis, you can talk to them.
Yeah,
they'll talk to you. It's just that it's those factory semis that they're busy.
Yeah,
but no, I think it's fun. But I'm glad you guys had a good time. I'm glad Gunnar had a good time.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many. I also, one of my things too, you go to those events like that. How many people are actually race fans, or it's, hey, there's a big event in Tampa, let's go.
Yeah. I mean, you could, if you kind of watch the crowd, you could kind of somewhat distinguish kind of between that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Who actually races or whatever, and then who's just there because it's an event or
Yeah.
they watch it on TV, but they don't have nothing to do with it. But
Yeah. All right. So we've covered that. We have a race coming up. Well, let's real quick. We'll cover the Enduro. You saw the results.
Yeah.
Looks like Stu starting over again.
There we go. Yep. Stu and Josh Toth. So teammates, first and second. In a bad way to start the year, but they were. What did he finish? Toth was 32 seconds behind on overall time.
Okay.
Like you said, there was only 7.
Yeah, only seven pros.
Yeah, that was.
There was 18, I think. What do they call them? Into pro.
Yeah, XC2.
XC2.
That's XC2. Yeah.
There was 18 of those, and the top one of those finished 6th overall, I think.
Yeah, Jason Tino.
Who's he ride for?
Couldn't tell you. Don't recognize his name.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know that name either.
Yeah, Chase Landers, who is on Landers KTM. That's his family that runs it. And then that Jalik Walker, he was riding for Beta. I don't know if he's still on Beta or they turned him loose. A lot of that we'll figure out after the first GNCC round, who's on what. But yeah, that's good. Stu coming out, winning.
And that's kind of, I won't say it's his home round, but it's kind of his home round. Like he knows that area.
Yeah, I mean they're there in South Carolina, so anything there.
Yeah.
His brother didn't race, which is kind of, well, I guess I figured his knee would be. I guess he had whatever done to his knee to get fixed. That's where he disappeared to.
When you couldn't find him.
Yeah, and I saw something about that. He finally got whatever fixed. So I don't know if he's back riding or not.
Yeah.
But see, that's another thing. Like, you have Stu who's out there.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who he is. Like, but then you have his brother who was on the factory Kawasaki, and like just disappears.
Just invisible.
Like, definitely nowadays, the more you make yourself known, the better off you are in every way. Unless you're doing something stupid, which most of them aren't. But you get your name out there, people know who you are, they know what you're doing. Like, but like him, Grant just disappeared. Like, months later, oh yeah, I had something done with my knee. Okay, well, just put that shit out. Like, hey, we're done early. This is going on. Like, it ain't gotta be. I don't like the top secret shit. I don't like. To me, that's BS.
Yeah.
Let people know.
I think the last thing on the agenda for today, I think, your gripe wasn't that bad with Supercross. I kind of am with you on
Yes.
the difference. Well, I mean, you could see. I mean, point blank, first qualifying session, because I wasn't there for the second, most of the second. First qualifying session, A group 55 seconds, B group 59 seconds. Top C group rider was also 59 seconds, but he has been in the B group before. I mean, potentially qualified for main and could have been an A group. So 59 seconds.
Yeah.
So just from the top 22 guys, 22 guys, there was a 4 second gap from the top to top.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the back guys are going to be,
Yeah.
but from top guy to top guy in each group, there was a 4 second gap. So there are gaps. There are gaps, and you have to. I guess you have to find your worth. If I can't win, how can I survive?
Yeah.
And in Supercross, at least there is a way. If they make that 40-man gate to start the night, they get paid.
Yeah.
You know, so there is a way.
Yeah.
And there's contingencies and there's gear sponsors.
Do you know what the pay is for 40th?
I don't remember. They upped everything. They upped everything a couple years ago. So you actually can, like, it's a decent paycheck. So I don't remember. I hate to say that because that is something actually I was talking with Derek about. It's not easy to find the numbers.
No, you have to like dig to actually get anything.
Someone posted them a year ago with the new data because they really upped the 250 because they were becoming like, guys are like, dude, we can't even make, like, if you finish last in the main, you barely made enough to cover your cost, and it's like, or the cost to enter, and it's like, that's dumb. But now I want to say it's at least $1,000 if you're 40th, at least 1,000, and maybe a little, but like, if you make the main, it jumps up, like, you know, it's so. But with contingencies and, like, even guys on the bottom, I know for a fact one of them got free tires. Well, cool. That's $140 or so that they didn't have to spend.
Yeah.
And getting fuel and getting meals, and Team Faith was feeding everybody last night. You can create a platform that I don't necessarily need to make $5,000. I need to make $3 somehow to survive.
But like I said, if you can consistently make it into the night show, okay, I am here.
Yeah.
Then okay, your next goal is, okay, I've just got to beat these other 19 guys, and I'm in the main.
And it's close.
Yeah.
And it's real close. It's
so, but you have to make it to that point. If you make it to that point, it's like, okay, I can get to the main. So, okay, now I can make more money.
Yeah.
But if you're not even making it to that point ever, or very sporadically, it's like,
it's literally like a golfer playing a tournament and not making the cut. If you golf for 2 days and you don't make the cut, you just spent whatever you spent. You get nothing.
Yeah.
A racer shows up, they pay their entry fee. It's $258 or something like that to enter. They make nothing.
Yeah.
Like, unless they make that 40-man gate.
Yeah.
See you later.
Everything you spent to get there.
Yeah.
So you know, with that being the first East Coast round, so realistically, you could spend several thousands of dollars to come there and not make a damn thing.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And then do that 9 more times.
Yeah.
Like, that's not smart.
And these 450 guys are actually making a living and doing it all over.
Yeah.
I mean, there are guys. 17 for the 450s.
Yeah.
250s, it's 9 total, 8 total.
Yeah.
Like that. But those guys that are literally in vans themselves, like, there are some guys that have vans, but they have someone drive the van and they fly.
Yeah.
But the guys that are doing it themselves, they were in Arizona and had to come to Tampa.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they get to hang out for a couple weeks, but at some point they're making a haul to Seattle.
Yeah.
And you'll watch some of the guys won't go because economically it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Unless you're guaranteed
to make it into the night show.
Yeah.
I'm not going to Seattle.
And to me, that person is smart. Okay. I live here. All the races that are within 8 hours of me.
Yeah.
I can cost effectively do. Okay, cool. That actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's 24 hours. Even, okay, I'm going to make the night show, I'm going to make this, but it's going to cost me this to get there, and I got to do this, and that. It's not really worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a different life. It is truly a different life. And, like, for them, we have the off road where there's always a break. You rarely have. I mean, there's one time a year they have back, but there's a break.
Yeah.
Like they don't get that option because like for an off road guy, they don't make nearly as much, but they can go home and work and put something in. They can't have a real job, but they can work.
Yeah.
The Supercross guy, they can't work. They can't. They literally
there's not enough downtime.
There's no time to work. You get home, clean your bike, and then you go back.
Yeah, between training, traveling, like you may have half a day or one day in between.
Like I know for a fact, guys that raced in Tampa, they will be on the road Wednesday to be in staging Thursday for Detroit, and set up on Friday, race Saturday. As soon as the race, well, actually it's a day race. Actually, as soon as the race is over, back to Florida.
Yeah, for Daytona.
Yeah, and then they come home for a couple of days, and so they take advantage of that because it's an easy ride. It's an easy ride. But on the off road side, we have Daytona. Is it Daytona, Ormond Beach? What's around? What's this one actually considered?
I mean, it's Ormond Beach.
Ormond Beach, but it's isn't it up at the ranch?
Yeah, but I mean, it's Ormond Beach address.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the second or third time that this race fall. Now, also, if you're going to that race, be careful because they posted a really nice picture of a gigantic rattlesnake that they found while cleaning out stuff. So stay in the open areas. Makes you not want to fall in the bushes.
Yeah.
That's a big boy. We are a smart organization sometimes. Why do we keep hosting a race that people have to find hotel rooms for the same weekend as the Daytona 500?
Yeah.
It's speed weeks right now. Like, you can't get a hotel room in Daytona right now if you want one. They're racing at Volusia. They're racing at New Smyrna. They're racing at every short track here.
Yeah.
So all right now, there's all these like the privateer guys racing sprints and late models, and now it's speed weeks from tomorrow until Sunday. Daytona Speedway is going to be packed.
Yeah.
On top of all the other racing going on. Oh, and by the way, we're going to have a little hair scramble up in Ormond Beach.
Yeah. Try
to get a hotel room. Last time we had to stay in Palatka.
Yeah.
Drive over an hour to come to the race. So I just, when the Daytona 500 is, why are we doing this? Yeah. It's a cool race. It's a cool track. It's cool. Why are we trying to go up against the 500?
Yeah. Because poor planning.
You're going to put people out in that traffic.
Yeah.
Like I try not to rant too much.
Yeah.
This one irks me. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's one of them things, like, that's maybe they don't think about it until it's too late. Like, I don't know, but like, honestly, it's poor planning. Like you said, everything is booked full all around. Like, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember we went to the Alligator. Makes sense. It's during bike week.
Yeah,
it is during bike week, and we had to stay in a little hotel right across the street from a concert.
But it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't bad.
No.
But we were able, I don't know how we were able to get a room, but we got one. But this is there are people, like, you can't get a room.
Yeah. Well, there's, like with this, there's people that book their room. Okay, they're at the race this year, they book it for next year.
Yeah.
Like, because it's the same date.
So I just feel like there's very few things in Florida that occur around our race season that cause problems.
Yeah.
But this is a big one. Like, this is as you said off camera, this is almost kind of like a national holiday.
Yeah.
Like, the Daytona 500 starts the NASCAR season. It's going to be packed.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be packed. You could even have an event during the 24 hours of Daytona. It's fine. Like, you get a lot of people, but a lot of them camp there.
Yeah.
It's
because they're there for the whole night. Like, they can't stay at a hotel and be at the race at the track for a whole night.
This is the 500, man. It's just, this has happened more than once now. And it's like, when you told me there was a race this weekend, I was like, are you kidding me? Like,
yeah.
So I'm not tickled.
Well, I'm not going, so.
Oh, you're not going?
No, we're not going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, because I work Thursday, Friday. Yeah, so I work Thursday, Friday, so.
So are we just not going to cover this race, or?
No, I mean,
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll watch videos.
We're not going, like, honestly, I don't, the hare scramble track side of it, I don't particularly, it's okay, but
I've always enjoyed it.
The way they do the enduro there in the parts of I like the enduro. I don't like the hare scramble layout.
I don't mind.
And it's kind of a pain in the ass to get to. To me, it's not. It's easy, but it's not. I guess it's just. I guess.
Well, it's because you got to go by 4. I mean, you can go the back way if you want to.
It's just getting through Daytona and all that. It's just. Yeah. It's just one of the places. It's like it's not hard to get to, but it is. It's just weird.
Yeah. We'll watch videos or something, or maybe we can have a guest on who did something. I don't know. We'll figure out something, but
we'll do handstands.
but no, I'm glad that they're having a. I want FTR to have as many races. Actually, we've talked. Perfect number would probably be 10 to 12 would be perfect. I think it's awesome. But the only thing is with this, it's one event per year that we can't compete. We can't compete with that.
Yeah,
like, we can't.
Yeah, it'd be like having a race the same weekend as the GNCC in the same state. Like,
yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not going to work.
Honestly, it would be. It's kind of like if they were to schedule a race the same night or the same weekend as a Supercross in Tampa, like a.
Yeah.
It's kind of. I won't say rude, but there are people that like racing that want to go to the Daytona 500.
Yeah.
But they also like hare scramble racing. Well, we're gonna make them choose. Well, if they want to race enduros, they're gonna miss. I understand, but like, there's very few events.
This is an event we shouldn't be competing with.
Yeah, there's very few events that we just shouldn't crisscross, and this is one of those. Like, it is what it. To me, it's just one of those. It is what it is type things. We shouldn't compete, but it's been a busy week. A busy couple weeks for motorcycles. We're getting into the end of our season, but the beginning of a lot of other stuff. Yeah. So GNCC not this weekend, next weekend. Right? Next weekend.
Yeah,
next weekend. So one more off weekend and then GNCC, and then